Hey, this is Dr. Ernst, host of the Ask Dr. Ernst show, and I have a call for anybody who's been diagnosed as a diabetic. Maybe you're taking the new injectable peptides. Maybe you're having to inject yourself with insulin. Maybe you're taking a blood sugar pill and you're wondering, is there light at the end of this tunnel? I'm here to say the answer is yes. We've personally seen hundreds of diabetics ditch the daily finger sticks, ineffective diets, and prescriptions when they do one thing: locate and fix the cause. Yes, diabetes has a cause, and it's not your genes. Despite what your doctors may have told you, it's often caused by hormone communication disruption, toxic heavy metals, and neurological subluxations. Why don't you join me for a free online masterclass, Destroying Diabetes, Saturday, March 15th at 10 a.m. And I'm also going to give you a free ebook right now that can help you to lower your blood sugars quickly. Simply text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. The masterclass is yours for free. The ebook is yours for free. Simply text your name, your email, and the word diabetes to 704-906-2094.
Beyond wine, we really care about health, the health of the planet and the health of each other. That's what inspired us to start this business. Our family of team members meets every morning for a group meditation, followed by an open gratitude session. We believe a sound mind with a focus on peace is the best instrument for change. Joint meditation is the cornerstone of our company culture, and it helps us remember what's important, spreading joy and love, just like our family growers. Our family is a collection of passionate, health-conscious individuals who love to laugh and enjoy each other's company. We eat seasonally, grow our own vegetables, cook together, and share wine. Our team is incredibly dedicated to our mission. Everything from sourcing the wines to answering service questions. Your natural wines were found and sourced around the world by our wine team. They taste every one, oversee their lab testing, and choose exactly which ones go in which box. If you order, your individual box will be packed by our incredibly hardworking fulfillment team. If you have any questions, your service requests will be handled by a wonderfully loving member experience family who only have one goal in mind: your 100% happiness. This video is put together by our talented media team, filmed and edited in-house, just like the rest of our artful media. From our unique creations to our printed lifestyle piece called A Matter of Taste. We put love into everything we do, and we hope to share it with you.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Get into bed to experience our smooth Celient Egyptian cotton blend sheets. Protect your mattress against the sands of time with our Celient mattress protectors. With our pillow protectors, you get the benefits of our recovery therapy. Explore new places and feel well rested throughout your journeys. Discover luxurious support that allows you to sleep in almost any position. Neck blankets are small and compact. You can bring them with you just about anywhere. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. My name is Dr. Aaron Ernst, and hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. Man, I am super excited for you. This morning we hosted Diabetes Heal Thyself. It was an absolutely essential masterclass. 425 people online. We were talking about breaking diabetes, lowering A1C, helping your body to get normal sugars, and losing weight and getting energy back. If you're someone who for the last couple of weeks has been listening to our diabetes series, but you missed today's masterclass, this is your opportunity right now to text the word replay with your name and email to 704-906-2094. All during this weekend, today and tomorrow, I'm going to let you guys have access for free to the replay. You can watch the event, you can get connected. So if you're someone who's sick of pricking your fingers, dealing with insulin, sugars, A1C, that is an event that will break you free. Simply text the word replay with your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll zip that replay over to you along with the free ebook. And listen, today we're going to talk about taking control of feelings of sluggishness, tiredness, weight gain, brain fog, dealing with cold hands or cold feet, no matter what the season is. Listen up. I'm talking today about a misunderstood, misdiagnosed, mistreated condition that most people deal with today called hypothyroidism. Conventional medicine often reduces it to just a simple hormone imbalance. But the truth is there is a functional cause behind every sluggish thyroid. And today I'm going to reveal to you the top 5 reasons that your thyroid is underperforming. And most importantly, as we do every single show, how to fix each of those. So did you know that 20 million Americans are dealing with a thyroid dysfunction, diagnosed thyroid problems, but another 60% of people have a subclinical hypothyroid and don't even know it? And part of the reason for this is the testing of thyroid by your conventional physician is severely flawed. If you've ever been told your thyroid labs look normal, but you still feel anything other than normal, you're not alone. Standard tests like TSH, which is thyroid stimulation hormone, is just one of the many puzzle pieces when it comes to understanding a functional cause behind thyroid. So the real question is, why is your thyroid underperforming? What we're going to uncover today are the top 5 reasons that your thyroid was low in the first place and your doctor said you must now take thyroid stimulation hormones or T4 or some sort of prescriptive medication to elevate it. Because many people with hypothyroidism are given a prescription of levothyroxine, Armothroid, Synthroid, you name it, and they're just taking synthetic thyroid hormone, but they're not actually fixing the underlying root dysfunction. The thyroid is part of a larger system. Your gut, your liver, your adrenal glands, your immune system, they all play a crucial role in global thyroid function. And if you don't address the underlying factors, your symptoms persist no matter how much medication you take. And this is why so many people still feel fatigued and they struggle with their weight and they're frustrated despite following their doctor's advice. So what's the real issue behind hypothyroidism? One, I'm going to reveal it to you in a new ebook we have called Thyroid Heal Thyself, a functional approach to solving the thyroid epidemic in the U.S. today. If you're taking levothyroxine, Synthroid, Armothroid, and you're wishing there's got to be another way, download this ebook. It's yours free. Simply text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. And hey, I'm hosting a brand new Thyroid Heal Thyself Masterclass. It's not for a couple weeks, guys. It's not till the 12th of April, which is a Saturday, but you can get free access to it now. Download the ebook, start implementing the changes we're going to talk about today, and your thyroid can start to repair, your energy come back, you'll start losing weight, your hair can thicken, your nails won't keep breaking, your hands will warm up, your feet will warm up, and your life can come back. So today, what are we doing? We're breaking down the 5 most common functional causes of hypothyroid disease, including the autoimmunity, the nutrient deficiencies, the stress overload, the hormone conversion issues, and the toxic exposures. I'm going to walk you through each of them so you'll know exactly the steps you can take to restore your health without relying on a prescription medication for life. So if you've been searching for answers, this is the show for you. I'll be sharing a functional approach that your doctor is not telling you. So grab a pen, grab some paper. Hunker down, let's take some notes and begin, because I'm going to show you the number one cause is something that affects up to 90% of people that have been diagnosed as hypothyroid. And that is an issue that we need to discuss. But let's begin with the basics again on what is hypothyroidism. At its core, a hypothyroid means your thyroid gland is not producing enough hormones to keep its function at its optimal potential. Think of your thyroid as like a master thermostat of your metabolism. It regulates your energy, it regulates your temperature, it regulates your digestion, it even regulates your weight and your mood. So when thyroid levels start to slow down in production, then everything slows down. This is why so many people are constantly fatigued, or they struggle with unexplained weight gain, or they experience thinning of their hair or brittle nails, or maybe you're that person who's dealing with brain fog or depression, or again, your hands are constantly cold. All of this is an indication that your body's running on a lower power than it needs. So if this sounds like you, you're not alone. And the frustrating part is that hypothyroidism is often misdiagnosed or mistreated in conventional medicine because physicians rely mostly on one single test, TSH, or thyroid stimulation hormone. They'll use this as the diagnostic criteria. If TSH falls within a normal range, then you're told your thyroid's fine, even if you're dealing with symptoms. If your TSH is high, doctors will quickly start prescribing levothyroxine, Synthroid, Armothroid, or any of these sort of synthetic hormones, believing that if they replace the hormone, it will fix the problem. But as you know, this is a one-size-fits-all approach, and it fails millions of Americans because it's ignoring the deeper question of, wait a minute, why is the thyroid not producing the hormone in the first place? You see, your thyroid doesn't just stop making hormones for no good reason. It's like a light bulb that suddenly burns out. In functional medicine, we ask the question, why is the thyroid struggling? What is the trigger? Are there other systems involved? And the truth is, because your thyroid is intimately connected with your gut and your liver and your immune system, you can't just blame the thyroid. So if any of these are out of balance, either because of an autoimmune attack or nutrient deficiencies or chronic stress, it could even be a hormone conversion issue or a toxic overload, the thyroid is going to react by slowing down. So instead of just replacing the hormone, we, functional physicians, holistic doctors, are going to help you to identify the underlying root cause. We've talked about it before. If the check engine light goes off on your car while driving, would you just tape a piece of duct tape over it so you don't see it anymore? Of course you wouldn't. You would want to figure out, why did the light come on, and fix the problem. And that's what happens, unfortunately. When you prescribe Synthroid, levothyroxine, Armothroid, it is the equivalent of just duct taping over the problem. It looks good now. TSH is great because you're taking the hormone. But again, we're not addressing the root reason. So functional cause number one. This is a big one, guys. Let's dive into this. Autoimmune attack of your thyroid, aka what's known as Hashimoto's thyroiditis. If you've been told you have a thyroid problem, there is a 90% chance that you have an undiagnosed Hashimoto's condition. And the shocking part is most physicians rarely ever test for it. Again, they look at TSH and T4 to confirm that the numbers are looking good. But what if the thyroid is still failing, and it's because of the fact that there's an autoimmune antibody attack? So what happens with Hashimoto's? Well, your immune system, which is designed to protect yourself, gets confused and starts attacking the tissues inside your thyroid, specifically the enzymes that produce the hormone and the hormone itself. This attack leads to chronic inflammation, which can gradually over time destroy thyroid function. Thus, we see thyroid levels start to become lower. Over time, as this happens, you start to see the symptoms. So fatigue starts to show up, weight gain, brain fog, hair loss, etc. And the kicker is, the autoimmune attack often happens years before the actual diagnosis of autoimmune thyroid. So by the time you've had a standard thyroid test and your TSH is off balance, it could be because years and years and years of autoimmune disease. So the big question is, why would an immune system turn against the thyroid? And the answer lies in something called molecular mimicry. Certain foods and toxins can leak across the membranes of your intestines, and one of the biggest culprits to this is gluten, also the protein in gluten called gliadin. And it is molecularly similar to thyroid tissue. So what happens is when gliadin and gluten start to leak across the membranes of your intestines, the immune system starts to attack the gliadin. Antibodies are formed. And what that does is it starts to attack the thyroid tissue, because to your immune system, gliadin and the enzymes and the tissues in your thyroid look the same. So they call it molecular mimicry. The immune system thinks, if I'm attacking gliadin and gluten because it's leaking, then I'm helping the body, I'm healing the body. But instead, unfortunately, the thyroid tissue and the enzymes look exactly the same. This is why eliminating gluten is essential for anybody who is dealing with an autoimmune thyroid, or anybody who's been prescribed a thyroid medication, because again, 90% of hypothyroidism is the autoimmunity. But it's not just gluten that does this. Other triggers can set off immune responses. Chronic stress, chronic low-grade infections, which is a big deal for most of us, either having H. pylori in the stomach as a subtle ulcer, or Epstein-Barr virus, or chronic bacterial infections, even things like mercury exposure, fluoride, toxins. All of these can lead to a trigger of an overactive immune response. And when your body goes into an attack phase, again, it specifically targets the production enzymes. So think of it like this. Inside your thyroid is an enzyme called thyroid peroxidase, and its sole purpose is to make thyroid hormones. You also have something called thyroglobulin, which is the protein backbone of the hormone itself. So thyroid peroxidase takes iodine and thyroglobulin, merges them together, and when it has attached 4 iodines to the globulin protein, you have thyroid hormone. So when your body is producing antibodies against thyroid peroxidase, you don't produce the protein, thus you don't make the hormone. And when you have antibodies against thyroglobulin, you're destroying the backbone barrier in the first place, as if you're never even able to produce the hormone. So when you have Hashimoto's, these antibodies are the core reason why the T4 levels are being produced. You can't make it because the thyroid hormones are being attacked, and you can't produce it because the enzyme that makes the hormone is being attacked. Having high levels of TPO and thyroglobulin antibodies is the definitive factor of knowing, do you have the autoimmune version of hypothyroidism? And if we want to start to solve this, we can actually begin to reverse it simply by beginning a process of removing the irritating foods, stopping the inflammation, and beginning to detox the gut. Remember, 80% of your immune system lives in your intestines. So if we want to calm an autoimmune response, we have to address leaky gut syndrome and/or gastric stresses. The number one cause of autoimmune attack against the thyroid is the Hashimoto's condition, but it is then created by leaky gut. When the tight junctions in your intestines are damaged, undigested food particles, toxins and bacteria, gluten and gliadin leak across the membranes, and then your immune system says that's a foreign object and it builds an autoimmune response to it. So how do we repair this and slow down autoimmune Hashimoto's? Well, step number 1, we have to remove the inflammatory foods. Gluten is a massive trigger against autoimmunity, again, because the protein mimics the tissues in the thyroid. Dairy and soy, refined sugars, processed seed oils, they also do all of this because, again, it drives inflammation, which irritates the intestines. So we remove those foods, which allows the gut to heal. And then step number 2 is we need to rebuild the lining with nutrients. We know that bone broths and glutamine and zinc and aloe vera are all very powerful healing components to the intestines. They help to physically restore the integrity of the wall of the membranes. If you're looking for solutions on how to do this, it's in the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. Just simply text your name, your email, and the word thyroid to 704-906-2094. I'll zip the ebook over to you for free. You can join us for the Masterclass, which is coming up in a couple weeks, Saturday, April 12th. We can help you conquer hypothyroid Hashimoto's autoimmune thyroid by getting to the root cause. Step number 3, we need to restore the beneficial bacteria to the intestines. A high-quality probiotic using prebiotic fibers. You can find them in foods like artichoke and garlic and onions. And often when you make a broth that uses these as its base, it helps to restore the healthy prebiotics to the intestines. And again, remember, if you have underlying chronic infections, if it's H. pylori with an ulcer, or it's a candida overgrowth, or it's Epstein-Barr virus, This is where you may need to start seeking some functional medicine help, getting the right kind of testing to find out what the underlying triggers are for you, and developing protocols to remove them. Stress, of course, is crucial. We need to deal with the fact that most of us are chronically stressed. Daily meditation, deep breathing, adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha and holy basil, these can all help to decrease the irritation to the intestine and start addressing functional cause number 1, which is autoimmune Hashimoto's thyroid. What's number 2? Well, this is a big one. Okay, this is a functional cause behind hypothyroidism. Why is your thyroid not producing enough hormones in its first place? It could just simply be because you are missing the key nutrients you need to build the thyroid hormones. Your thyroid is like an engine of metabolism for your body. And just like all engines, they need fuel. And the fuel are the components that we need to make the tissue work. Without the right nutrients, your thyroid simply just can't do its job. So even if there's no autoimmunity, the reason for a low production of T4 could just be you don't have enough of the key ingredients to make the hormone in the first place. Instead of just throwing T4 at it, why don't we look at the idea of the raw materials? I mean, heaven forbid you should test yourself to see if you have enough vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. Most people rarely do this. So if we start with the key components of how do you make the thyroid hormone in the first place, we need iodine. You literally can't make it without it. The T4, the 4 indicates there's 4 iodines attached to the globulin protein. T3, then there's 3 iodines. They're both named, again, for the number of iodines found on the protein molecule. When you have enough iodine, you can produce the hormone properly. When you don't have enough iodine, or you have issues where there's toxins blocking iodine absorption, then it starts to show up as low thyroid production. Fluoride, bromine, chlorine, these are all iodine blockers. And unfortunately, the water and a lot of the foods we consume today have these inside of them. So the tricky part with this, and I'm going to throw this out as a word of caution, is if you're autoimmune thyroid, you have to be careful supplementing with iodine, because if you hyperproduce T4, but your body's attacking it, you're only fueling the fire. Selenium is an unsung hero when it comes to thyroid functionality. It acts as an antioxidant. It protects your thyroid against inflammation, and specifically, it helps to convert T4 into T3. See, thyroid level 4, T4, is an inactive hormone. It's produced in the thyroid, but it has to be secreted into your blood, and then it must travel through the blood to the liver to be converted into T3. T3 is active thyroid hormone. This is the one you want. It makes you feel good. It makes you lose weight. It makes you energetic. So oftentimes what happens is if we don't have enough selenium, we can't convert T4 into T3, and the thyroid becomes vulnerable to oxidative stresses. So it just takes, listen to this, 2 Brazil nuts consumed daily to give you the total amount of selenium that you need to support thyroid functionality. The other 2 nutrients that are key are zinc and B12. They help to regulate the production and energy metabolism. Zinc is famous for activating the thyroid receptor, meaning if you don't have enough zinc, then you can't open the receptor for your brain to actually start stimulating the cells of your body with the hormone. And it also helps to produce thyroid-releasing hormone, which is a brain hormone that signals the thyroid to produce more hormones. B12 plays a huge role in energy production and nerve function. Without it, you tend to find that there's brain fog and forgetfulness and numbness and tingling, sometimes even cold hands and cold feet. Low B12 absorption is a key component behind most people with hypothyroidism, and if we focus on supplementing with methylated B12, consuming selenium, taking iodine in some natural solutions and sources, eating more seaweed and things like that, you can actually turn this around. Iron and magnesium, again, are 2 essential components that are needed for crucial thyroid functionality. Iron deficiency can slow down thyroid hormone production because the enzyme thyroid peroxidase that makes the hormone in the first place needs iron in order to be activated. When low iron is often found, we find that people have the same symptoms, the fatigue, the tiredness, the achiness, and it can often become as a result of you not producing enough thyroid hormone. Magnesium helps with the conversion of inactive T4 to active T3. So how can we solve this? Well, with iodine, what we can do is we can start consuming more sea vegetables, kelp and nori and dulse. Think of it like seaweeds. We can use wild-caught fish and even eggs, which have a decent amount of iodine in them. If you're going to supplement with iodine, keep it extremely light, 220, maybe 200 micrograms of iodine per day. Selenium, again, an essential nutrient. If we simply supplement with selenium, 200 micrograms per day has been shown to increase thyroid functionality by helping to stop the autoimmunity and also, watch this, helping to pull back on the reactivity of the autoimmunity and the conversion of thyroid hormones. When we're talking about zinc, we can get zinc through eating grass-fed beef, pumpkin seeds, and lentils. B12 we find a lot in grass-fed beef, in eggs, and in liver and organ meats. So it's real simple. You can start to supplement each of these key nutrients. You can start to eat more foods that are loaded with them. And what it does is it helps the thyroid peroxidase enzymes to make more thyroid hormones. It helps your liver to convert them so T4 turns into T3. And this activates the cellular response within your body so you start to feel great again. If you're looking for assistance and more details, download the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. It's a functional approach to solving hypothyroidism using natural methods, and it's yours completely free today. Simply text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll send it over to you today, and you get access to the Masterclass on Saturday, April 12th, Thyroid Heal Thyself. It's the event that will show you how to identify your root causes, connect you with the testing that you can do at home, and walk you through the steps of resolving the top key players behind hypothyroidism. Functional cause number 3. So we've already discussed Hashimoto's autoimmunity. We've discussed nutrient deficiencies. Now we need to talk about the fact that chronic stress and adrenal dysfunction can tap out your thyroid. And when we talk about this, it's something every single person deals with on a daily basis. Yet, it's rarely considered a connection, the stress response of your adrenal glands to your thyroid. You might not recognize this, but chronic stress is one of the biggest roadblocks of thyroid production because stress triggers the release of cortisol, which is your primary stress hormone response. And cortisol levels, when elevated, suppress thyroid function because it blocks the release of the stimulation hormone from the brain. It reduces the conversion of T4 into active T3. So if you think about it, it turns off the floodgates from the top. The thyroid physically can't make the hormone, and it stops the conversion of T4 inactive into T3 active within your liver. And the issue here is that because the adrenal glands are intimately connected, if no one is addressing adrenal health, we can't solve hypothyroidism just by throwing T4 and synthroid and levothyroxine at someone. One of the biggest culprits is a hormone called pregnenolone, which is very rarely tested when you're getting a thyroid panel. Think of it as like the mother of all hormones because it's the raw material that we use to make cortisol and estrogen and testosterone and thyroid hormones. When your body steals pregnenolone to produce cortisol because you're stressed out, you then have less of the hormone backbone to make the thyroid hormone in the first place. So this is how chronic stress leads to a decrease in thyroid function. And listen, when we come back from the up-and-coming commercial break, I'm going to connect the dots between how chronic stress elevates a toxic thyroid hormone called reverse T3. And if you never get that tested, it's again another reason for the symptoms of fatigue and tiredness and achy, hair thinning, nails breaking, hands being cold and intolerant to temperatures. And it's the core reason why most of us are not losing weight. So if we deal with the stress response by our adrenal glands, we can get this toxic thyroid hormone out and your body becomes active, healing, happy, and whole. And if we deal with the nutrient deficiencies and the autoimmunity, now your body can start to fight back and produce better thyroid hormones. So take a moment right now and download the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. It's yours free. It contains all the information we're talking about today, plus some of the key guides and the tests that you need to get done so you can discover your underlying root cause. It's absolutely free today for you. Text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. When we come back, a continuation of these 5 culprits behind hypothyroidism and the natural solutions you can implement so your body can heal itself. We've discussed hypothyroidism because of Hashimoto's. We've discussed because of nutrient deficiencies. We're in the middle of discussing adrenal dysfunction. And as we continue, we're going to go into the toxicities associated, and we're going to be discussing the conversion issue, which is by far one of the biggest problems that most people deal with, how your liver is more important for your thyroid health than your thyroid by itself. Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Ernst show. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Like most sustainable products, sustainable coffee production is not only healthy for the environment, but it's also healthy for the body. Like our commitment to purity in every cup, our focus extends beyond taste to encompass the health of consumers and the environment. At Purity Coffee, the journey from farm to cup should be as pure and sustainable as the coffee itself. Our farmers adhere to rigorous organic farming practices, ensuring our beans are free from harmful chemicals and pesticides.
We try to make organic coffee, even though we didn't know it was organic. We just were not using chemicals or anything like it. We weren't really interested on chemicals. We wanted to have something healthy, something without needs of chemicals. That's why we went into, by then didn't exist the word organic, I think. We're talking about on the 70s. So nowadays we know the new words, organic, sustainable, and all that. We try to do all that regardless. We didn't do it for any purpose specifically, but we did it because it's the natural things to do. We live on the farm. We have a lot of workers who are thriving to make things better every time. And they love the fact of the challenge of what to do with some waste, what to better up things, what to recycle, what to reuse.
I'm Whitney, a dietitian and diabetes educator, and you may be surprised to know that I actually recommend for my patients to drink coffee. Coffee is actually one of the richest sources of antioxidants in the Western diet. Chlorogenic acid, one of the antioxidants found in coffee, helps not only fight inflammation, which can be the root cause of so many chronic diseases, but it actually can help improve blood sugar balance. Because chlorogenic acid reduces carbohydrate absorption, it can reduce blood sugar spikes at mealtimes.
But our dedication to health doesn't stop there. Purity Coffee is not just about a great cup of coffee. It's about a commitment to protecting the environment for future generations. By partnering with sustainable farms and investing in carbon neutral practices, we minimize our ecological footprint and promote a healthier planet for all. As consumers, we have the power to drive positive change through our choices. By choosing Purity Coffee, you're not just supporting your own health, you're also championing a movement towards sustainability and environmental responsibility. So why settle for anything less than pure? Choose Purity Coffee and join us on a journey towards a healthier you and a healthier planet. Because when it comes to coffee, purity is the ultimate quality measure.
Wine is a fermented beverage that has been enjoyed by humanity for over 8,000 years. Our ancestors believed in its magical healing powers. Philosophers turned to it to spur new ideas and encourage lively debate. Wine has been a well-studied part of our history, but recently it's changed. The wines sold today in most stores and restaurants are not the same wines enjoyed by our ancestors. Today, wine is a highly processed, factory-made product filled with toxins and industrial additives. The grapes are farmed with machines and heavy pesticide use, and the marketing is misleading and dishonest. Wines free from this human intervention still exist. They're called natural wines. These wines are a return to the old way of making and enjoying wine. Free from commercial additives, high sugar, and heavy alcohol content, these wines are a beautiful expression of nature. They're also extremely rare. Less than 1% of the world's wines are grown to this standard. They are made in hyper-small quantities by family farmers who work by hand using ancient practices. When you drink them, all this becomes clear. You'll notice a completely new wine experience. This is the kind of wine that derive from wine sources. We search the globe looking for pure natural wines, carefully nurtured by family growers who work with nature, and we take it a step further, sourcing wines that meet our strict criteria for farming, purity, and taste. We only work with organically grown wines, farmed without irrigation and without heavy machinery. Grapes are hand-picked and then fermented using native wild yeast, not the industry-standard GMO yeasts. Our wines are pure, lab-tested by an independent enologist for metrics including alcohol and sugar. They also taste extraordinary, bright, fresh, and full of life. They jump out of the glass because they aren't sterilized or heavily processed.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Welcome back. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. My name is Dr. Aaron Ernst, and hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. All during our topic of the hour today, we're discussing hypothyroidism, how it is a major player behind your energy, your focus, your brain functionality, and how too many Americans today are taking levothyroxine, Synthroid, Armothroid, missing the original reason of why their thyroid was underproducing in the first place. Your thyroid doesn't just turn off for no good reason. And if we just simply throw medications like, again, Synthroid, levothyroxine, Armothroid at it, we're going to make the labs look good. But often what most people say is, but doc, I still feel like crap. My body is tired. I'm fatigued. My hair is falling out. I can't seem to lose weight. Even though my doctor says now it's not my thyroid, why then do I still feel like I'm falling apart? And it has to do with the original reason for the production loss in the first place. Very simply, your thyroid produces a hormone called T4. It has 4 iodines attached to a globulin molecule, yet it is completely an inactive hormone. This is what is missed 10,000% by conventional physicians. That hormone must travel to your liver to be converted into active thyroid hormone, which is known as T3. So there's a couple things that can happen. Either your thyroid is not producing the hormone in the first place, and rather than just saying, oh, well, therefore take the thyroid hormone and make it all look balanced, we want to know, why isn't that happening? Why is the thyroid not producing? We talked at the top of the hour about how the number one cause that most people are misdiagnosed with, meaning they've never been told they have it, is an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, where the body produces antibodies against the production enzyme and the hormone itself. So if we break down the production enzyme, you can't make T4. There's the root cause. And rather than just prescribing a medication to give T4 back, in the world of holistic physicians, functional medicine, our job would be to solve the autoimmunity. You can do that very simply by discovering that most antibodies are produced by a leaky gut and what's known as molecular mimicry. So if we remove the irritation and we downregulate the immune system by getting rid of the molecular mimicry, the gluten, the dairy, the soy, the processed foods, over time antibodies can lower and the thyroid can start to produce more hormones. We discussed that it could be the fact that you're just simply missing the key nutrients. We need iodine, we need selenium, we need zinc, we need iron. And most people have never had their vitamins and minerals and nutrients tested. So a deficiency could produce a lack of production in the first place. Then we started discussing how chronic stress and the adrenal dysfunctions that most people are never addressing is the core root reason. And if you're just now tuning in, we've been giving away the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook, a functional approach to solving the thyroid epidemic. It contains the testing and the information you need to know about. It has the secrets of everything I'm discussing today, and it is yours free. Simply text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. You're also getting registered to attend a masterclass that I'm hosting on Saturday, April 12th on solving thyroid issues using functional medicine and a holistic approach. So if we're going to talk about the third cause, adrenal dysfunction and chronic stress, it's something that affects every single person, yet is rarely considered as a connection to thyroid. What happens is, as your adrenal glands become more stressed, you produce large amounts of cortisol, stress hormone. But in order to do that, you need to take a hormone called pregnenolone and steal it away from what pregnenolone can turn into, which is estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and thyroid hormones. So when this concept known as a pregnenolone steal is occurring, cortisol production is high because of your chronic stress. pregnenolone does not get converted into thyroid hormones, and that is a main reason why the body stops producing thyroid hormones. When stress is high, this stealing of pregnenolone can also shut down the conversion of thyroid hormones from T4 into T3. And now here comes the next kicker. The higher your cortisol levels, the more stress reaction occurs within your liver, and your body says instead of converting T4 into T3, it will now convert it into a state of what's known as reverse T3. I want you to think of reverse T3 as the thyroid hormone that is like a brake instead of a gas pedal. T3, gas pedal, burn fat, feel great, tons of energy. Reverse T3, brake, fatigue, tiredness, weight gain, cold and flu-like symptoms, cold hands, cold feet, achy joints, etc. One of the biggest triggers for the excess production of reverse T3 is the sense of elevations of cortisol and the fact that pregnenolone is being shifted away from conversion to thyroid hormones. So what's the solution to this? Well, you need to start addressing your adrenal glands. One of the biggest ways to do this is to focus on the lifestyle changes that helps to lower cortisol naturally. One of the most effective ways of doing this is to begin focusing on your sleep, aiming for anywhere between 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep. We want to start working on consistent bedtimes. This is the biggest problem with most people today. If you're not going to sleep at exactly the same time every single night, it's a disruption to your circadian cycle. It should be around 10:30 to 11 o'clock every night. We should be waking up about 7 to 9 hours after that. If we start working on this, you will develop a better sleep cycle and your circadian rhythm can start to become reactivated. We also need to watch out for using electronics in the evening. Blue lights and the exposure from screens like TVs and iPads and phones and computers, all of that light stimulates the pineal gland and the retina in the eye as if it was morning. Morning sunlight exposure helps to regulate the adrenal clock, but if you do it at night, you can cause a disruption. This is where we now need to start working on things like breath work. If we start to do breathing patterns, box breathing, meditation, yoga, all of these have been shown to lower cortisol and help to reset your nervous system. If you're constantly in a state of fight or flight, your thyroid is going to struggle. So we need to start focusing on techniques that bring relaxation, bring a sense of slow breathing, and bring a sense of helping us to sort of relax and slow down. Now, the neat thing is there are several supplements you can use to actually do this, and they're what are known as adaptogens. These are powerful herbs that help to regulate cortisol and restore adrenal balance. One of the most famous is ashwagandha. And if you take anywhere between 500 to 600 milligrams of ashwagandha, the studies show, listen to this, that you can reduce cortisol as much as 30% while also supporting thyroid function and thyroid hormone production. Rhodiola, anywhere between 200 to 400 milligrams, is another adaptogenic herb, and it has been shown to help combat the stress-related fatigue and brain fog. And if you have a severe amount of stress in your life, licorice root, in conjunction with vitamin C and magnesium, has been shown to help to downregulate the production effects of cortisol over long periods of time. 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 400 to 600 milligrams of magnesium, and making sure that you're salting your food with Himalayan salt. These are all crucial for helping to rebuild an adrenal gland so that your body can actually lower cortisol, upregulate pregnenolone, and give it back to the thyroid so it can convert it into thyroid hormones. Again, remember, our discussion is on what are the things that are causing our thyroid to lower its production, rather than just looking at that and saying, take a medication. There's always a reason for lack of production. We discussed the autoimmunity and how the body can attack it through a condition known as Hashimoto's. We discussed the nutrient deficiencies, how you might be low in iodine and magnesium and selenium. We discussed now how your adrenal glands and the elevations of cortisol can shift a hormone away from the thyroid and make your liver convert your active thyroid hormones into a toxic thyroid hormone known as reverse T3. One of the most important things you can ever get tested if you're someone with hypothyroidism is those things. We want to look at TPO antibodies, thyroglobulin antibodies, to rule out or in an autoimmune diagnosis. We need to do nutrient profiles, minerals, vitamins. We need to look at your cortisol levels and your adrenal glands. Can you see how this is way more than just looking at TSH and T4. Functional cause number 4, the reason for the drop in thyroid hormone functionality in the first place is a conversion issue. And this, in my opinion, is the hidden thyroid disruptor. One of the most overlooked causes is the fact that most people struggle to convert T4, which is inactive, into their third thyroid hormone, T3. And here's the challenge with it. That doesn't take place in the thyroid. It takes place in your liver. T4, inactive from the thyroid, must be converted into T3, active thyroid hormone, which is the one you want. T3 is what makes you feel great, burn fat, be energized. Think of T4, if you will, as like a blank check. It's useless until it's signed and converted into real money. In this case, the real money is T3. Without this proper conversion, it honestly doesn't matter how much T4 your body produces or how much medication you take. You'd be amazed at the number of people who say, Dr. Ernst, I've been on Synthroid, levothyroxine, Armothroid, you name it, but I still don't feel like my symptoms have improved even though my labs look better. That's a hint that you're not converting the hormone properly. Your body cannot use it. Again, this is why so many people feel tired and overweight and sluggish and fatigued, even though their labs look normal. The key is not always just to looking at how much T4 you have. It's to making sure that your body can actually convert this. Now, here's a surprising fact. 80% of the conversion of T4 into active T3 takes place outside of your thyroid. This is why often we'll say something like, it's not necessarily your thyroid that's a problem. It could be something else, your gut, your toxins, your liver. And this means that if your liver is congested or inflamed or is struggling, it won't produce the active thyroid hormone, leaving you with the symptoms of hypothyroidism, even though potentially your thyroid could be working perfectly. Liver congestion and or toxicity is a major issue in our modern world today due to the fact that we have processed foods and toxins and heavy metals and even the medications that a lot of us take to try to feel better overwork and overload the liver. If your liver is struggling, instead of converting T4 into T3, what it does is it shuttles it into a hormone called reverse T3. This is an inactive thyroid hormone, and it actually makes you have more symptoms as if you had hypothyroidism. In fact, this has been termed Wilson's syndrome. Dr. Wilson, back in the late 90s, figured out that you could have normal TSH and normal T4, yet still have hypothyroid symptoms. So he dug deeper and realized that there is a toxic thyroid hormone called reverse T3. As reverse T3 levels climb, weight goes up, fatigue goes up, brain fog goes up, and yet most physicians, unfortunately, are never checking reverse T3. Your gut also has a major role in the conversion process of T4 into T3. It's estimated that 20% of thyroid hormones, T4, is converted into active hormone T3 by the bacteria in your intestines. Meaning, if you have a leaky gut or dysbiosis or chronic inflammation, you're going to have a difficult time activating your thyroid hormones. What we often see is most people have overgrowths of fungus, candida, or too much bacteria, a SIBO, where their symptoms are because of the fact that they're not converting their hormones properly. This is why most thyroid patients complain of constipation, bloating, food sensitivities, IBS-like symptoms, and they almost mirror image. The same symptoms of a leaky gut are almost the same symptoms of a thyroid because, again, they're interconnected. The leaky gut could be causing the autoimmunity, producing the antibodies against TPO and thyroglobulin. The autoimmunity could be affecting the intestines. The conversion because of a leaky gut or a dysbiosis, so we don't actively convert the thyroid hormone. So how do you fix this? We need to start looking at the conversion process within the liver. Because your liver is responsible for the majority conversion, we need to start supporting your liver and its detox pathways. Some of the most easiest ways to do this is to begin by adding liver-supporting foods to your natural routines. Beets, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, dandelion root teas, even lemon water and apple cider vinegars can help to flush the liver and get the toxins out so that your body can convert the hormone better. If we're going to look at some specific nutrients, which again is listed for you in the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. If you want the protocols, if you want the guides, simply download the ebook. Text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll zip the thyroid ebook over to you. We'll even register you for the Masterclass on Saturday, April 12th, Solving Thyroid Conditions Naturally. I'll take you through it step by step, specific to you. You can even ping us with your thyroid numbers, and we'll come up with some protocols for you, all live during the Masterclass. What are the nutrients that we need to help to support liver detoxification? Milk thistle. I'm going to give you guys a secret. 300 milligrams of milk thistle taken daily. Glutathione. You need roughly about 2,000 milligrams of glutathione. N-acetylcysteine, which is a precursor for glutathione. 600 to 900 milligrams daily. What these do is they help to clear liver congestion. Glutathione, I want you to think of it as like the soap for your liver. It goes around and actively grabs any toxin that's available and helps it to be excreted through your bile into the gut so it can be eliminated. We can also start working on boosting thyroid activation by balancing your gut, which we've discussed before. Probiotics, digestive enzymes, fermented foods. You could even help to begin reducing inflammation if we start using omega-3 fatty acids. We can use turmeric. We can incorporate intermittent fasting. All of these will find the reverse T3 levels start to come down. Thyroid hormone T3 active starts to go up. And over time, as your body starts to normalize, your thyroid can actually begin to produce more of the T4. As we discussed earlier, key nutrients, make sure you're focusing on these. Selenium, 200 micrograms per day. Zinc, 30 micrograms or milligrams per day. Magnesium, anywhere between 400 to 600 milligrams per day. These help your cells utilize active thyroid hormone. So if you're still struggling with low T3, despite these changes, maybe what you should do is start to consider a deeper liver cleanse or a detox. You can't just take T4 as a prescription and think that it's going to clear your thyroid. We have to go deeper and look at underlying root causes. So we discussed root cause number 1, autoimmune Hashimoto's, how there's an attack against antibodies that go after the production enzymes in the thyroid and actually destroy the thyroid hormone itself. We discussed how nutrient deficiencies can create a breakdown in the body's ability to even produce the thyroid hormone in the first place, thus being the reason that T4 is down. We discussed the overlooked condition of adrenal stress, how cortisol and pregnenolone are two important nutrients or two important hormones that you need to pay attention to, because if your body is stealing pregnenolone to make your stress hormones, you can't produce thyroid hormone in the first place. Then we discussed how it's a conversion challenge, where maybe your thyroid's producing the right amount of hormone, but you're not converting it into the active component in your liver. And if there's a congestion or a toxicity, your thyroid hormones tend to be produced over into a toxic format known as reverse T3. We could do an entire show, and perhaps we will in the next week or so, on reverse T3 dominance and how it is one of the key players behind why people are so tired and fatigued and gaining weight, even though their thyroid hormones look great. And then number 5, a big one, toxicity, heavy metal exposure, and how environmental toxins can physically shut down your thyroid. Again, remember, the whole point of today is, why is my thyroid not producing thyroid hormones? If there are toxins and heavy metals, you see, your thyroid is one of the most sensitive organs in your body. It tends to absorb things. Like a sponge soaking up water, your thyroid seeks after iodine. And here's the problem. Various toxins look a lot like iodine. So we talked about this before with the molecular mimicry and the leaky gut. Gluten and gliadin look a lot like the enzymes found inside your thyroid. So if you leak gluten and gliadin across the membranes of your gut, immune system is activated, antibodies are produced against gliadin, but it just so happens that the gliadin looks a lot like your thyroid, so your immune system attacks your thyroid. Halogens, these are the things like fluoride, chloride, bromine, all the things, unfortunately, that we put in our drinking water to try to clean them up and make you healthy can mimic a structure very much like iodine. So what happens is, as chlorine and fluorine and bromine are starting to get into your body, the thyroid absorbs them thinking that it's iodine, but instead, because they're not, it blocks the ability to produce the hormone in the first place. This is why when a lot of people start looking at cleaning out their environment, they start removing fluoride from their water using water filtration systems. They start cutting back on using chlorination products and fluoridated toothpaste. And we got to start getting the bromine and the chlorine out of our water. Unfortunately, it's used as a sterilization agent in the city systems, but the downstream effect of it is the more standard water we drink and bathe in, the more we absorb these halogens. Think of it again as like disrupting the thyroid functionality, because instead of using iodine, you now have heavy metals within your thyroid. And it's not just halogens. Unfortunately, another major toxic threat is mercury, lead, arsenic, and aluminum. Mercury is a particularly big problem against the thyroid because it competes with selenium, which is a nutrient that your thyroid needs to convert and detox itself. When mercury binds to the selenium receptors, you cannot convert T4 into T3. Therefore, you functionally have a hypothyroid. And where does mercury come from today? Well, it's often found in dental fillings, seafoods, environmental pollution, vaccines. If you've ever had mercury fillings or you eat a lot of high mercury fish, tuna, swordfish, or shark, perhaps the reason your thyroid is underperforming is simply because you have high levels of mercury. And you can actually detox from this. You need to get tested for it, and you can do chelation to remove mercury. And let's not forget the fact that there's also endocrine disrupting hormones like BPA and phthalates and pesticides. These chemicals often mimic the hormones in the first place, and they prevent you from being able to produce T4 and T3. Often what we find too is a lot of these chemicals will irritate the intestines and lead to the autoimmunity because of the Hashimoto's in the first place. So how do we start to begin a low-grade level of detoxification? Well, first is we need to make sure that we're removing ourselves from the exposures to this. The biggest culprits, again, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, mercury, lead, arsenic, and bisphenol A. They're in our tap water, so we need to start filtering our water. They're in our food products. Plastic containers specifically are high in bisphenol A. They're in our personal care products and the air that we breathe. When we look at fluoride found in tap water and conventional toothpaste and think chlorine in swimming pools and drinking water, you just simply need to reduce your exposure to them. Bromine, unfortunately, is used a lot in baked goods products. You'll find that a lot of grains have been brominated, or they're found in flame retardants in things like new furniture and clothing and sofas and rugs. To reduce your exposures, we can just simply watch out for our body's ability to get exposed to those products. We need to go through a detoxification process to help remove them. If we talk about heavy metals, we want to watch out for eating, again, fish that are high in mercury, swordfish, tuna, and shark. We want to make sure that if we have plastics in our environment, if we're drinking out of plastic water bottles or using plastic food containers, that we reduce that. You can begin to start a low-grade detoxification by using cilantro, chlorella, and charcoal. We usually recommend 500 milligrams of charcoal daily with 1 to 2 grams of chlorella, and beginning to take cilantro and actually juicing it and drinking it as a shot glass of cilantro juice daily. This helps to naturally engage the detox process within your body and help your system to remove mercury and heavy metals. The other method, of course, is to go holistic and seek functional help. There are tests that you can do, including a hair test that can identify the amount of metals and pesticides and herbicides within your body. And by doing that, you can use a functional approach to develop a protocol of chelation. EDTA, zeolites, these are all great binders and chelators, but you'll need a functional physician to help you guide so you know the dosing and the amounts to take. So if we look at this step here, we have now a functional approach to helping you produce thyroid hormones at a better level. Instead of just throwing T4 at it, what if we start to remove toxins from your liver so it doesn't break down the process of conversion? What if we help to remove fluorine and chlorine and bromide so that your body doesn't absorb them and block the production of the thyroid hormone in the first place? What if we start to give you the nutrients that you need to produce thyroid hormones? What if we work on checking you for autoimmunity and finding out if your body is attacking your thyroid in the first place? These are all methods that you can do and solve this condition known as hypothyroidism instead of just throwing synthetic medications at it. And the neat thing is, it's all available for you with the guides and the information you need in Thyroid Heal Thyself, an ebook we're giving away today Simply text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll zip it to you today, and you get access to the Thyroid Heal Thyself Masterclass Saturday, April 12th, where I'll walk you through how do you get connected with the testing? What do you do once the results come back? How can you conquer this condition known as hypothyroidism so you can break free from the constant tiredness, the fatigue, the achiness, the brain fog, the forgetfulness, and all the symptoms associated with hypothyroidism? There you go. All the steps needed right in your hands. Take a moment again and download the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. Simply text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. If you're looking to kick levothyroxine, Synthroid, and Armithyroid to the curb, you can do it. Explore these 5 root causes, implement the natural solutions, and your body will thank you, and it can heal by itself. Thanks for tuning in today. I look forward to seeing you guys each and every Saturday. News Talk 1110 WBT, 3 p.m. with the Ask Dr. Ernst show. And over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be breaking down deeper components of thyroid functionality as we build up momentum to the Thyroid Heal Thyself event on Saturday, April 12th. Again, if you'd like to join us, text the word thyroid plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. The ebook is yours for free. The masterclass is yours, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Until then, be blessed. Bye-bye.